Have you ever woken up one morning, looked down, and thought to yourself, wait a second, what happened to my morning wood? If you are over 50, you might have noticed that erections do not always show up on command like they used to. And here is the truth that most men never hear. It is not just about age, it is about nutrition. Your body is a finely tuned machine, and if you are not fueling it with the right vitamins in the right way, performance begins to slip. No matter how strong your desire is, the response just does not follow through. As a doctor who has worked with men for many years, I have seen hundreds of them regain their firmness, energy, and confidence. And not by quick fix pills or gimmicks, but by correcting just a few powerful deficiencies. Today, I want to share 3 essential vitamins that can transform your circulation, your testosterone, and your erection quality when you take them correctly. Stay with me until the very end, because the 3rd vitamin, and the way it works with the others, is a game changer that most men completely overlook. Let us begin with vitamin D3, often called the sunshine vitamin. Most people only think of it for bone health, but here's the truth that far too many men miss. Vitamin D3 is directly connected to sexual performance. In fact, large research studies have shown that men with low vitamin D levels are nearly twice as likely to suffer from erectile dysfunction compared to men with healthy levels. That means a simple deficiency could be the hidden reason your erections are not as strong or reliable as they used to be. 2. Vitamin D3 acts more like a hormone in your body than a vitamin. It plays a central role in testosterone production, which is the foundation of male vitality, sexual desire, and firmness. Without it, testosterone signals weaken, energy drops, and erections falter. Vitamin D3 also regulates blood vessels, keeping them elastic and able to expand when blood flow is needed most. It reduces inflammation and protects the arteries, creating the perfect conditions for strong circulation. Here is the problem. More than half of men over 50 are deficient, and most do not even know it. Modern life works against us. We spend too much time indoors. Many of us live in places with limited sunlight, and extra belly fat actually traps vitamin D, making it unavailable to the body. That means your testosterone and your circulation both suffer. I have seen patients who were constantly tired, moody, and struggling in the bedroom, and once they corrected this deficiency, their energy rebounded, their testosterone improved, and their erections became more consistent. The best way to take vitamin D3 is with food, especially foods that contain healthy fats like olive oil, avocado, or salmon. That is because D3 is fat-soluble, and it cannot be absorbed properly on an empty stomach. I recommend taking it in the morning with breakfast. Not only does that improve absorption, but it also gives you a gentle boost of energy during the day and avoids interfering with your sleep. Within just a few weeks, many men notice more energy, better mood, sharper focus, and stronger, more reliable erections. Now let us move on to vitamin B12. Think of your erection like an orchestra. The blood vessels, the hormones, the muscles are all instruments. But without a conductor, the music falls apart. That conductor is your nervous system, and vitamin B12 is what keeps those nerve signals strong, fast, and precise. Without enough of it, the communication between your brain, your spinal cord, and your most important organ begins to slow down. That is when performance issues begin to appear. Here is where it gets tricky. As men age, the ability to absorb B12 drops sharply. Your stomach produces less acid, which means you cannot release B12 from food as efficiently. By the time most men reach 50, many are walking around with chronically low levels without even realizing it. The early symptoms are subtle: tingling in the hands or feet, numbness, fatigue that coffee will not fix, brain fog, and yes, weaker and less reliable erections. Vitamin B12 does more than protect nerves. It also keeps your red blood cells strong and healthy. Those red blood cells are like oxygen delivery trucks. The better they work, the more oxygen reaches your tissues, including the ones responsible for performance. Without oxygen, stamina crashes. With it, stamina soars. And here is another danger. Low B12 leads to high homocysteine, a compound that damages your arteries and makes them stiff and narrow. That is like rust clogging your pipes, leading to poor circulation, weaker erections, and even a higher risk of heart disease. So how do you get enough? Foods like eggs, fish, and red meat are good sources, but once you pass 50, your gut often does not absorb them well enough. That is why sublingual B12, the kind that dissolves under your tongue, is so effective. It bypasses the gut and goes straight into your bloodstream. For men with very low levels, B12 injections can be life-changing, restoring energy, sharpening memory, and improving sexual performance in ways that pills cannot. Timing matters here as well. B12 is energizing, so it is best taken in the morning. Think of it as flipping on the power switch for your nervous system before the day begins. Within weeks, men often feel sharper, more alert, less tired, and more capable in the bedroom. Now for the third vitamin, and this is the one almost no one talks about. Yet it might be the most important piece of the puzzle. Vitamin K2. Think of it as the traffic controller of your body. You have probably heard that calcium is good for your bones, and that is true. But here is the darker side. When calcium goes to the wrong places, it builds up in your arteries, creating hard calcified plaques that cause stiffness, poor circulation, and eventually heart disease. Vitamin K 2 steps in and says, "No, calcium does not belong here." It pulls calcium out of your arteries and sends it into your bones and teeth where it belongs. Why does this matter for erections? Because hardened arteries are silent erection killers. Erectile dysfunction is often one of the very first warning signs of cardiovascular trouble. The blood vessels in the penis are some of the smallest and most delicate in the body, so they are the first to show problems. If those vessels stiffen even slightly, blood flow is restricted. Without flexible arteries, nitric oxide, the natural chemical your body releases during arousal, simply cannot do its job. No flexibility means no expansion, and no erection. Vitamin K2 prevents that by keeping your arteries soft and elastic so blood can flow freely when you need it most. Picture the difference between a brand new garden hose that bends and flexes versus an old cracked one that barely lets water pass through. That is what K2 does. It keeps your arteries youthful and responsive, even as the years go by. And here is where it gets even more powerful. Vitamin K2 and vitamin D3 are partners. Vitamin D3 increases calcium absorption from your diet, which is great for your bones, but dangerous if left unchecked. Without K2, that extra calcium can wander into your arteries and joints, creating stiffness instead of strength. With K2 guiding it, the calcium goes straight into your bones, making them stronger while protecting your arteries. That is why D3 and K2 together are far more powerful than either one alone. Now here is the challenge. K2 is not easy to get from a typical diet. The richest source is a Japanese dish called natto, made from fermented soybeans. But most men are not eating natto for breakfast. Other sources include aged cheeses, egg yolks, and organ meats, but even then, the amounts are usually too small. This is why supplements are often the most reliable option, especially for men over 50. The best way to take it is with food in the evening, since K2 is also fat-soluble. Pairing it with D3 and a meal that contains healthy fats like olive oil or salmon is the most effective way. By making this a nightly ritual, you not only boost erections by improving blood vessel health, you also strengthen your bones, protect your heart, and slow down arterial calcification, one of the most damaging processes of aging. When you put this all together, you can see the bigger picture. Vitamin D3 boosts testosterone and circulation. Vitamin B12 powers your nervous system and oxygen delivery. Vitamin K2 keeps your arteries open and flexible. But here's the secret that most men miss. It is not about taking these vitamins randomly whenever you remember. The real power comes from timing and synergy. Vitamin D3 and K2 work best when taken together with healthy fats. Vitamin B12 works best on its own in the morning. When you get this sequence right, you are not only supporting your heart, your bones, and your energy, you are laying the foundation for firmer, more reliable erections day after day. Of course, vitamins are not a magic overnight cure. They are building blocks. They work best when combined with good lifestyle habits, quality sleep, hydration, and daily movement. These simple habits act like multipliers, making the vitamins even more effective. For example, walking just 20 minutes a day improves circulation, which enhances the benefits of vitamin D3 and K2. Hydration keeps your blood flowing smoothly, making oxygen delivery from B12 more efficient. Everything ties together into a bigger system. And here's the exciting part. When men get this right, the results often come faster than expected. Some notice more energy, stronger morning erections, and improved mood within just 3 weeks. For others, the changes feel subtle at first. Deeper sleep, less fatigue, more confidence. But over time, intimacy no longer feels like a struggle. Their body works with them, not against them. That is the real reward. Not just an occasional good night, but a steady return of strength and consistency that restores confidence in every part of life. So if you have been feeling like your performance is slipping, do not jump straight to pills or quick fixes. Start with these 3 essentials. They are safe, affordable, and they work with your body, not against it. Try this for just 1 month. Take vitamin D3 with breakfast, vitamin B12 under your tongue in the morning, and vitamin K2 with dinner. Then watch what happens. You will feel the difference not only in the bedroom, but in your energy, confidence, and vitality as a man. And before you go, do not miss my next video, where I will break down the worst foods that silently drain your testosterone after 50. Make sure you subscribe, drop a like, and share this with a friend who might need it. Remember, you are never too old to rebuild your vitality. You just need to give your body the right tools.